Well, a judicial nominee is stirring up some controversy. President Obama is tapping UC Berkeley law professor Goodwin for the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco. That move has drawn some criticism from conservatives, fearing that he is too liberal for that position. Liu is only 39 years old, and if confirmed, he could be, some suspect, on the fast track to the Supreme Court. So that's why this nomination is getting quite a bit of attention. Tom Fitton is the president of Judicial Watch, and he joins me now. Hi, Tom. Good morning to you.
Hey, Martha.
So, basically, I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for being with us today. Basically, there's a book that Mr. Liu wrote called Keeping Faith with the Constitution. There's some quotes in there that have disturbed you guys, right?
Well, he co-authored that book. Mr. Liu is not just any liberal. He's a leading liberal activist on matters related to the judiciary. So he's like the leader of the opposition. And he's been advocating that President Obama appoint more liberals like himself to the judiciary. By gosh, he was appointed. And in his book, he talks about interpreting the Constitution using evolving standards of norms. And, that's the sort of language that liberals use when they don't want to follow the Constitution explicitly. And that's the concern about Goodwin Liu, is that he has this idea that judges ought to be, in my view, making the law as opposed to keeping close to the Constitution and trying to apply the law in a more neutral manner.
It's interesting, though. There are some things that would sort of go against that notion, including a couple of his supporters. He has support from Whitewater Special Prosecutor Ken Starr. He's also being supported by his fellow Berkeley professor, John Yoo, who's a former Bush administration lawyer. So he's getting some support from some very conservative folks.
Well, he is, but he's also getting a lot of opposition from pretty much everyone else who's concerned about judicial activism in the courts. And I know the opposition in the Senate is strong, or at least it ought to be strong, given his views. He's talked about constitutional rights to welfare. He's talked about and opposed the notion of a colorblind Constitution. He believes the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution ought to require people or ought to require allowing men to marry men and women to marry women, same-sex marriages. These are pretty radical views, and any Senate confirmation process needs to get at the heart of what he believes. And if he's as radical as his writings and his position papers and op-eds suggest, he would be the wrong person to sit on the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. Many people think he's being groomed for a Supreme Court appointment. So it's important to call attention to these issues now.
All right, and we should. His record will be examined, and you're putting forth your perspective on all of this. We should point out also that he supports charter schools and vouchers for kids so that they can go to private schools. So a lot of things on both sides of the fence. And we thank you, Tom, for bringing us your thoughts on his potential nomination. Good to have you here today.
Thanks.
In a moment here, a visit to the zoo.